In my previous video I looked at Reda, the man, his troupe and the style, and put it in a historical context. In this video I want to look more at the dancing and answer the question, what does Reda have to do with belly dance? Hi, I'm Kashmir, and a quick recap. In Egypt in 1959, Reda, his friends and family created the Reda troupe. Its primary focus was the presentation of a nationalistic style of folk dance. So what's this got to do with belly dance, if anything at all? Well, nothing and quite a bit. Now Reda is on record as saying that his troupe does not do belly dance. And that's not terribly surprising, as one of its main functions was to elevate dance in Egypt. Egypt sees belly dance with its belly and hip movements as, well, sexual, sensual, and among the upper classes it was considered very backward, even by some evil. So the hips and that came out. When Reda did his field work, one of the things he noticed is that the Fellahin men, the peasants of the Delta region, actually shimmied their hips. And this was actually considered totally unacceptable. So that's one thing that's been removed. There are no men doing hip shimmies in Egyptian folk in the Reda troupe. Even the women's hip movements were refined and made less suggestive and less sexual. There's two other things that Reda removed that is traditional in Egyptian folk, and that is the solo improvised bit of solo improvised torso work. So what you'll actually see is not solo work but ensemble work. There may be in some cases a soloist, so Reda was the principal dancer and she often had a solo spot, but it was within the context of a group dance. So the soloists have gone and the improvisation has gone. Now there are good reasons for this. If you're putting something on stage, you want it to have impact, and you also want to be able to repeat a piece over and over. And as soon as So what if he took these out? What did he add? Well, the answer is really footwork. Lots of footwork. So what sort of changes were made to the dance itself, its actual visual presentation? One of the things that strikes you most is the turns that Mahmoud has added. So Reda's style includes lots of turns. This is when I bought myself some ballet slippers when I was doing a lot of Reda workshops. You really need them. You turn a lot. And there are lots of different styles, and you also have travelling turns as well. Reda also introduced releve. I mean, we had this in the Golden Age as well, but it's used a lot more. And also the famous Reda arabesque. If you're ballet trained, you'll turn your nose up at this and say, that's not an arabesque. Well, if you're going to go to a Reda workshop, you better learn to call it an arabesque, otherwise you'll get really confused. He also increased the arm movements. So there was more extension in the arm. You still don't have the dancing with the arm things you sometimes see in American belly dance, but there was more arm work than is traditionally found in belly dance. And there's all those foot patterns. So there's a number of sort of characteristic ways that your feet will always move, and it actually makes learning the choreographies much easier. When Raqs came back into the Reda repertoire, it came with all those modifications. So Raqs, you'll see, is a very, very seemly dance, a very, very modest dance. And again, it tends to be done as a group dance, not as a solo. So what's this got to do with belly dance? Well, in Egypt, a performer needs a license, and part of the performer's license is evidence of training, and Reda provided that training to thousands of dancers. So people like Ra Hassan, Ada Noor and Dina, for instance, all were trained under Reda, and that influenced their dance. It's not the whole of their dance, but there is the underlying influence. Further, when the West discovered Egypt and they wanted to learn belly dance, the Reda trained teachers were more on the same level as most Western dancers. They taught choreographies, they taught foot patterns, they taught counting, which some of the other non-Reda style dancers didn't do, because that's not how they worked. They worked through improvisation, they worked on the feel of the music. They'd do the same thing to the same piece of music, they'd dance twice and do something completely different. And I know, because I was in a workshop where this happened, this doesn't go down well in the West. It's quite ironic that a dance company that was formed to actually remove all evidence of what we call belly dance from Egyptian dance has turned out to actually influence dancers worldwide with their own style of belly dance, and many people in actual fact consider it a sub-style of the genre. That said, it is the Reda approach to Egyptian folk that is most commonly known. And love it or hate it, the influence of Reda is immense in the belly dance world.